Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachare Munira Vanachare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gauranikai, Jaya Gauranikai. Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jaya Om Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Vratikacharya Astota Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. BBT Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premshika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Radha Kun Shama Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yaga Ki Jai. Brihad Mridanga Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurvam Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadam Tikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunatam Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācalam pangum langayate kirim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Harihi Om Tatsat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to today's ecstatic study of Srimad Bhagavatam, seeking blessings of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Today we are going to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, entitled How Parīkṣit Received the Age of Kali, text number 5. Please repeat the Sanskrit after me. Śaunaka Ṛṣi kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra kosogamya padāhanat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam śaunaka uvāca kasya hetor nijagrāha kalim digvijaye nṛpaḥ, nṛdeva-cihna-dhṛk śūdra, kosogamya padāhanat, tat kathyatāṁ mahā-bhāga, yadi kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. Word for word. Śaunaka uvāca. Śaunaka Ṛṣi said, kasya, for what? Hetoḥ, reason. Nijagrāha, sufficiently punished. Kalim, the master of the age of Kali. Digvijaye, during the time of his world tour. nṛpaḥ, the king. nṛdeva, royal person. cihna-dhṛk, decorated like. śūdrakaḥ, lowest of the śūdras. asau, he. gum, cow. yah, one who. padāhanat, struck with his leg. tat, all that. kathyatāṁ, please describe. mahā-bhāga, O greatly fortunate one. Yadi, if, however. Kṛṣṇa, about Kṛṣṇa. kathā-āśrayam, related with his topics. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada's translation purport. Translation. Śaunaka Ṛṣi inquired, why did Mahārāja Parīkṣit simply punish him, since he was the lowest of the śūdras, having dressed as a king and having struck a cow with his leg? Please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Please repeat after me. Śaunaka Ṛṣi inquired, why did Mahārāja Parīkṣit simply punish him, since he was the lowest of the śūdras, having dressed as a king and having struck a cow with his leg? Please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Kṛṣṇa. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Śaunaka and the Rishis were astonished to hear that the pious Mahārāja Parīkṣit simply punished the culprit and did not kill him. This suggests that a pious king like Mahārāja Parīkṣit should have at once killed an offender who wanted to cheat the public by dressing like a king and at the same time daring to insult the purest of the animals, a cow. The Rishis in those days, however, could not even imagine that in the advanced days of the age of Kali, the lowest of the śūdras will be elected as administrators and will open organized slaughter houses for killing cows. Anyway, although hearing about a śūdrakaḥ who was a cheat and insulter of a cow was not very interesting to the great Rishis, they nevertheless wanted to hear about it, to see if the event had any connection with Lord Kṛṣṇa. They were simply interested in the topics of Lord Kṛṣṇa, for anything that is dovetailed with the narration of Kṛṣṇa is worth hearing. There are many topics in the Bhagavatam about sociology, politics, economics, cultural affairs, etc., but all of them are in relation with Kṛṣṇa, and therefore all of them are worth hearing. Kṛṣṇa is a purifying ingredient in all matters, regardless of what they are. In the mundane world, everything is pure due to its being a product of the three mundane qualities: in the mundane world, everything is impure due to its being a product of the three mundane qualities. The purifying agent, however, is Krishna. Hare Krishna. In 1974, January the 2nd, in Los Angeles, Srila Prabhupada, he was giving a lecture on the same verse. And at the beginning of his lecture, he mentioned kṛṣṇa-kathāśrayam. This is the devotee's principle. Everything should be related to Krishna. And just at the beginning of our session, something happened. It reminds me about Krishna and about a pure devotee of Krishna. I would like to share with all of you. Because the garland is very fragrant, but I noticed there is a worm and it's crawling like this. I was thinking, what shall I do? I remember in 2002, 20 years back, that is the first time the devotees from Kasya Desh, we came to Mayapur, and the first class we had is in the first building at the entrance of Grihastha area in the housing. And I was the translator. I sit with next to Pankajanga Prabhu. He was giving class, and I saw a worm on his garland. Because I was coming from the city, I was a little scared. I said, "Hey, there's a worm on your garland." And he's not alerted like me. He just very, very gently took the worm, and he went outside, and he put the worm inside the garden. And he said, "Go and play with your friends." I would never forget that. So gentle, so soft. That is a pure devotee's heart. So when I saw the worm, I was thinking, I cannot go to the garden now. What shall I do? Okay, keep it on Krishna's garland. Because just at the end of the purport, it is mentioned, because everything in this mundane world is impure. Only Krishna is pure. The purifying agent, however, is Krishna. So by remembering Krishna, by remembering everything related to him, everything related to his pure devotees, let's start today's discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. I followed the recent classes, and I heard the devotees are asking, why Parīkṣit Mahārāja, he didn't kill Kali? Actually, this is a very intelligent question. The same question here in this verse asked by Śaunaka Ṛṣi, representing all the sages in Naimisharanya forest, to Suta Goswami. And the same question actually asked by another very famous personality, Bhakti Devi herself. The story coming from Padma Purana. And in that story, one day, Parvati Devi, she said, "Suddenly I have such a desire of hearing Krishna Katha arouse in my heart." And she's asking her husband, Lord Shiva, "Can you please tell me something? Can you relate to me the glories of Krishna?" So Lord Kṛṣṇa starts to tell a story. So this is a story inside a story, a conversation inside the conversation. It reminds us the structure of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is also one of the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not possible, concocted, manufactured by any mundane brain. Because we can see in this Srimad Bhagavatam, the structure is like that. There is a conversation embedded in another conversation. Just like last week, I was discussing the third canto with some devotees. We're discussing about the last part of 7th canto, chapter 7, Vidura's further inquiries to Maitreya Rishi. And in that chapter, from verse 23 to 38, although only 16 shlokas, but Vidura, he asked almost 40 questions. 40 questions in 16 shlokas. And the question is, one question is nestled within another question. And all these questions, just like whatever Mahārāja Parīkṣit is asking to Srila Shukadeva Goswami, leads to the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is revealed to us through all these wonderful questions. And not only that, we should notice that all these great personalities, when they are asking questions, they ask all kinds of questions we could never even think of. And then at the end, they also said, "Okay, please, if anything which is pertinent to this topic, which is pertinent related to this topic. Please, if I neglected to ask, you also tell me. So this is a way we should try to study. We should find the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Padma Purana, Lord Shiva is telling his wife Parvati a conversation that was from Shukadeva Goswami and Parīkṣit Mahārāja, and also that was learned by Sutta Goswami, because Sutta Goswami was a disciple, direct disciple of Srila Shukadeva Goswami. So he was telling this incident. So one day, the 4 Kumaras, they went to Vishal river, at the bank of the river, and they saw Narada Muni. They saw him very unusual. Usually we know Narada Muni is very, very blissful. But this time they saw him very dejected, like suffering from depression. So the 4 Kumaras are asking, hey, what happened? Why you are feeling so despondent? And Narada Muni said, oh, I just had a tour of the whole world. In fact, I was thinking the earth should be the best planet, because on the earth there are so many tirthas. So I went to Prayag, I went to Sri Rangam, I went to so many places. But I find out the influence of Kali Yuga is so predominant, and everywhere people are very fallen. The brahmacharis are no longer following the 4 regulative principles. And the sannyasis, they're living very comfortably in the cities and in the temples occupied by Yavanas and Malechas. And the atheists are voted as leaders of the society. And even the anna, the rice, are being sold to the people. Can we imagine? Now we take it for granted, anna, rice. We should pay a price, and the price of the rice, due to the present crisis in the whole world, the war, the pandemic, the rice prices keep going up. Can you imagine before? They said the rice shouldn't be sold. Anna, rice should be simply distributed. Just like here, the sages, they're asking, why Parīkṣit Maharaj just not directly kill him? Why only just punished him? So that means, that's indicating simply punishing such a low person dressed like a king is not proper. He should directly be killed. So now we are thinking the rice should be sold and we should pay a price for taking the rice. But actually the rice should not be sold. This is the Kali Yuga. And also in every house it is mentioned the women will be dominating the man. In one sense, maybe it's good, especially when the Vaishnavas are devotees. They should become leaders of their husbands. Of course, if the husbands are also Vaishnavas, and then they should cooperate together. So, Narada Muni, he feels very, very despondent. And he said, and then, finally, I went to Vrindavan. And most astonishingly, I saw a very young lady near the bank of Yamuna, and beside her there are 2 old men, like lying on the bank of the Yamuna, and she was crying, weeping constantly, and sometimes she's simply crying and crying, sometimes she's trying to revive the 2 old men. And just next to her there are so many other ladies are serving her, helping her, trying to help her, assist her to console these 2 old men. And Narada Muni said, so I went there, I asked her, who are you? What are you doing here? Who are these 2 old men? And then that young lady, she said, actually, I am Bhakti Devi. And these 2 old men are my sons. They're Gyan and Vairagya. They're knowledge and renunciation. And due to the Kali Yuga, nobody is taking shelter of the Vedas, nobody is taking shelter of devotional service. Everywhere is full of sinful activities. So people are no longer become truthful, pure, and they're no longer maintaining all their standards. So the 2 sons become very old, and she said she was also hurt, injured. But by coming to Vrindavan, she was somehow or other revived, because Bhakti Devi in Vrindavan, she again regained her youthful form. But her two sons are dying in coma. And then Narada was trying to save the two sons. So he tried to their ears. He was trying to recite all the Upanishads, all the Vedas, even Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But occasionally they just opened their eyes and then again closed, fell back to their deep sleep. So Narada Muni was also worried. But Bhakti Devi told him, I know you are a great sage. You are a great devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So when I see you, simply by seeing you, I know good fortune would arise. That is also can be applied on us. Whenever we see a sadhu, whenever we see a pure devotee of the Lord, we can be sure that our good fortune would come very soon. Good fortune arises when we spot a devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And then Narada Muni said, yes, I will try my best to help you. And he prayed, and at that time he heard a sound from the sky, and the sound declared, you should go traveling and meet different sadhus, and then they would tell you what sad karma, what activities you should do, so you can save all of them. So Narada Muni, he started to travel, and is asking everywhere, different scholars, pandits, brahmanas, what shall I do in this situation? But nobody can tell him. And finally, at Bhadrika Ashram, when he saw the 4 Kumars coming, because they are actually all Brahma's sons, so he saw his own brothers, then he realized, oh, you are always in the realization of God. So maybe you can tell me, must be you are, for all of you, you are the person who can tell me what is the sad karma I should do to help Bhakti Devi and her 2 sons. So the 4 Kumars, they really have the solution. They said, you should recite Srimad Bhagavatam, and this would revive Bhakti and her 2 sons back to normal. And then Narada Muni had a doubt. Actually, having doubt is a sign of intelligence. We're not accepting things blindly. So Narada Muni, he was asking his own brothers, oh, you are saying I should recite Srimad Bhagavatam, but I have been reciting all the Upanishads, all the Vedas, different literatures, even Srimad Bhagavad Gita to their ears. They only open their eyes occasionally. That is useless. And then the 4 Kumars, they give him analogy. Actually, in Srila Prabhupada's purpose in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many analogies. I suggest whenever we study, we should try to remember all of them. And then we can vividly remember things. So the 4 Kumars, they told Narada Muni, you see, there's milk, and the ghee is present inside the milk. But can you taste the ghee from the milk? By drinking milk, you can't taste the taste of the ghee. Yes, the flavor of the ghee. You have to taste ghee directly. Then you can taste the flavor of the ghee. So that's why in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that nigama kalpataro galitam phalam. So that this Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the essence, this is a ripened fruit of all Vedic literatures. And the 4 Kumars, the 4 brothers of Narada Muni, they said, all the Vedas is just like yogurt. Because once I was learning cooking from one senior Mataji, and she taught us first we have to boil the milk, and then we put some sauce. We make the milk turned into yogurt. And by collecting the yogurt cream, so first we have milk, and then we make yogurt from the milk, and then we take cream from the yogurt, and after 1 week's accumulation of the cream, we can make butter, and from butter we can get ghee. So that is a whole process. And also, just like a sugar cane, a long stick, sometimes if we chew the sugar cane stick, we find out some part is especially sweet, some part is not so sweet. But if we get the extracts, if we get the essence of the sugar cane, that is sugar, like rock candy or molasses, then the whole thing is very sweet. So Srimad Bhagavatam is like that. It is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. Therefore, only Srimad Bhagavatam can revive the two sons of Bhakti Devi, and also can dissipate the darkness of ignorance of all people in this Kali Yuga. So, and also in their discussion, they talk about the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahatmya. I would like to share 3 points from those conversations. They're coming from the shloka 33, 37, and the shloka 40. So, in the beginning of the class, we're reciting Sanskrit shlokas. This system is established by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Why he's doing this? He's always encouraging the devotees to recite Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas. Although not all of us will become Sanskrit scholars. Because if we every day drink the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam by reciting the Sanskrit shlokas, all our sinful reactions will be dispelled. No matter how many crores of lifetimes of sinful activities accumulated on us, and how much sinful reactions should be happening on us, but if we recite Srimad Bhagavatam, not even the full shloka, even just one line, just 1/4, or even just a half line, that much is enough to dispel, to counteract our sinful reactions. And then we can establish pure bhakti in our hearts. It is mentioned simply by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. And like someone's doing thousands of horse sacrifices, Ashwamedha Yagya, someone is doing hundreds and hundreds of Rajasurya Yagya. But that is not even equal to 1/16 of the benefits we can get from hearing, studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Recently, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj was in Atlanta, New Panihati Dham, and in one lecture he said one sentence. He said, by carefully studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we can establish a very intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kṛṣṇa. Who wants to establish a very intimate relationship with Kṛṣṇa? Haribo! So now we get the secret method, and it's very easy. That is by carefully reading and studying Srimad Bhagavatam. And if someone is dying, so in the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned in the 40th of shloka. It is mentioned someone's dying, and you can read Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And then Lord Govinda will be very much pleased, and he will bring this person directly to Vaikuntha. And especially for such a dying person, we can recite Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 8, the section about Gajendra Moksha Lila. If we read Bhagavad Gita, then it's the 15th chapter, Purushottam Yoga. So that is a way. So Narada Muni, he started to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And also, oh, by the way, there's a small detail. He asked the 4 Kumars, where shall we do this? And the 4 Kumars said, you should do this in Gangadwar. Think about our situation. We're just next to the bank of Ganga. And we're in the Sridham, Mayapur. And all the online devotees, you can virtually join us near the bank of the Ganga in Sridham, Mayapur. And we're together listening to the discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then, just by a very short time, Bhakti Devi appeared. Bhakti Devi appeared by this recitation, and she starts to dance. She's dancing in bliss, and her 2 sons, Jnana and Vairagya, they also resumed their youthful form. They're revived. So, in the early chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, in Canto 1, Chapter 2, Verse 7, it is mentioned Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Jnana Yatyasu Vairagyam Jnanamschan Yad Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one can acquire causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Causeless knowledge. This is a kind of mercy and detachment. So we are trying to get mercy of the Lord. And mercy means we're not qualified. Recently, Vrindavan, I heard Mahatma Prabhu's one Srimad Bhagavatam lecture. He said, if there is a reason for mercy, if we have the qualification for mercy, then that is not mercy, it's justice. Mercy means we're not qualified. That is mercy. But then, the mercy is just not coming like without any reason. Actually, there is a reason for mercy to come, to flow. We have to put our endeavors, just like the two fingers story in Damodar Leela. One side is Krishna's mercy and one side is our endeavors. Our endeavor is not enough for us to be qualified to get mercy, but our sincere endeavors, or earnest, or full-hearted, 100%, even 200% endeavors can attract mercy from the pure devotees, can attract mercy from the Lord. So that's what we should do. And in this verse, it is very interesting because in the verse itself, it is mentioned that please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Kṛṣṇa. This reminds us of another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, a very famous verse, one of the Chatuslokis of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2.9.34. That is the second one. The second verse of this Chatusloki Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that verse is a similar description. Krishna is telling Lord Brahma. He said, if anything appears to be of any value, but it has no relation with me, with Krishna, then you should know for sure it is a manifestation of Maya's potency, it's illusion. And different acharyas, different previous acharyas, they give different comments on this verse so we can understand how everything should be related to Krishna. How when we hear, everything should be related to Krishna. If that is not related to Krishna, then better we don't waste our time to hear. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita also about 2.9.34. And he said that verse saying that you should see everything should be related, everything valuable, if they have no relation with me, and then that is the Maya, especially Mahamaya. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's telling us this verse is substantiates, like emphasizing the aspect of sambandha. We should first establish our relationship with Krishna, and then we should act in devotional service, that is abhidheya. And then finally we can reach the final goal, param gati. Actually, in the Bhagavatam Mahatmya, in the 37th shloka, it is also mentioned, even by reading 1/4 of Bhagavatam shloka, you can reach param gati, the supreme transcendental destination of the Lord. So I hope, maybe starting from tomorrow, more devotees will be very enthusiastic to respond to the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is for our own benefit. And also will benefit the others, because the more we recite, the more we can change the whole atmosphere of this world. We can make this whole world more Krishna conscious. So Prabhupada is emphasizing this, everything should be related to Krishna. And the other acharyas, like Srila Jiva Goswami, he mentioned in his Sat Sandarbhas, in Bhagavad Sandarbha, he said, actually, it is talking about what is Mahamaya, what is Yogamaya. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said this verse is discussing about Maya Shakti and Jiva Shakti. And our Srila Prabhupada, after digesting all the previous Acharya's purports, and he's telling us, this means if we double-tail everything into Krishna's service, then we are inside Yoga Maya. But if we separate from the service of Krishna, then we are in Mahamaya. So that's why we should be relating everything. And I want to tell you a very interesting story. It happened in the evening of the last day of last month, 31st of March, yes. In the beginning of our class, I mentioned the one pastime of His Grace Pankajangvi Prabhu. And now I would relate pastime of his brother. And that evening, Prabhu was drinking milk, and the servant was serving milk to him. So he put 1 glass of milk and 1 glass of water on his table. As Prabhu was drinking the milk, he constantly looking at the water glass. So the servant is asking, do you need the water? No. Shall I empty the glass? Maybe he needs an empty glass, like put the milk, making it cold. And then Prabhu said, no. Then Prabhu said, I think they put water in the milk. And the servant said, oh, that means it's not pure. And Prabhu said, no, it's pure. I think they put Ganga water inside. So this is a pure devotee's vision. For us, if we are feeling there is water in the milk, like recently I was doing Gaura-mandala darshan parikrama with a group of devotees, and I was glorifying milk. And then one devotee said, hey, whatever you are drinking is not even called milk, because she just came from Vrindavan and she was taking care of 30 cows near Govardhan Hill. She said, our milk is like this and this. Your milk maybe is buffalo milk and mixed with some scent. And then the other devotees start the whole discussion about how degraded this Kali Yoga, and how now even in the Dham, the Ghosh, they're like black-hearted and they're doing this and that. So I have to stop their conversation. I said, let's discuss something else. And this is the difference. See, we can see that the pure devotee, when he feels there's water in the milk, he was thinking, oh, it's still pure. Because what else they could put? In my Pradham, they can only mix Ganga water. Even it's from the tap, even from the underground water, everything is coming from Ganga. So that is how we should relate. And I remember, like maybe a few days ago, one devotee is also asking, shall we participate in some politics, like become president, leaders? And very interestingly, Srila Prabhupada, when he was giving a class on today's verse, he mentioned, and he also gave a very nice analogy. He said, for example, we go for fishing. We want to get the fish. So we come to the bank. But on the excuse of fishing, if we fell inside the river, and what is the use? So if we want to participate in politics, there's always a danger, the danger of being implicated. Then we cannot make progress, we cannot make advancements for ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said that's what we should consider. Whatever activities we should do, whatever departments of activities we should participate in, we should always think, shall we get advancement in this or not? Advancements not means material advancement, not economically, financially, or you become very famous, a lot of people are worshipping you. It means in Krishna conscious, in spiritual life, can you achieve advancement or not? And then you can engage in this activity. Prabhupada mentioned very interestingly, he said the department of activities. So before we participate in any departments of activities, we should think about this. And also in the same lecture, Srila Prabhupada, he said another thing. It's very much related to our today's situation. He said, just like there is an epidemic, and this whole area is infected, what shall we do? Whatever we are talking about, morality, immorality, sociology, this and that, this ism, that ism, is useless. because this is an infected area. Everyone is going to die. First, we have to make this place like disinfected. That's why we go everywhere. It says, without wearing mask, no entry. First, we disinfect. We don't give our virus to others, and we don't take virus from the others. We make this area completely disinfected. And then in this way, we can start to talk. And our topic is always related to Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for your patience. We have a few minutes left, so I would like to invite comments and, yes, our dear senior Vaishnavi. Thank you.
I just have a question about the story you told about Narada. Because you started the story by saying that someone came and saw him depressed. And then you told the story of how he revived the two sons of Bhakti, but why was he depressed then at the beginning of the story? How do we get around to his being depressed? Because it seemed like the rest happened after he was depressed.
Oh, thank you, Mother. I will add some details. I'm sorry, I jumped a few details. Narada Muni was feeling depressed because the whole world is very fallen. And then even in Vrindavan, he saw Bhakti Devi and her two sons are like in the suffering condition. So he was also suffering. He feels depressed. And he was searching for a solution. And by hearing the sound coming from the sky, he starts the process of searching. And at the Badrik ashram, he got the mercy of his own brothers. They told him, you should recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Then all the depression can be solved.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Actually, this is also the same story. Can you hear? Is also in Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya. And in Mahatmya also, you said it from Vishnu Purana. So what happens is actually, this is one of the proofs that Bhakti Devi comes to the West. This is the prediction of Srila Prabhupada coming to the West, among many other quotation that we see in other Puranas. So this is one of the proof of prediction of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you for your comment. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji, for a really absorbing class. I was really intrigued by many of the things that you said. One of the things that comes through very clearly in this class is that we should try as much as possible to hear, read, remember pastimes of Krishna and topics of Krishna. My question is, today, in today's world, the media is so strong. Every time you look at your laptop or your cell phone, there's so much coming at you. Ukraine war, this thing, that thing. How can we keep ourselves, as you said, disinfected? How can we prevent ourselves from getting caught in the, in that moment and get drawn into topics that are not useful or helpful for our Krishna consciousness, but they're very attractive by their very nature. So could you just share some tips so that we don't get caught by Maya?
Hare Krishna, thank you for your wonderful question. You reminded me of one quote from Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. And he said, actually our thoughts, this is a kind of energy. And we have to decide where we want to invest our energy. So what we want to think about it, and what we want to discuss, what we want to hear. And then accordingly, we're going to get reciprocation from that aspect of energy. If we direct our energy into the channels of mundane social media, and certainly we will be influenced by different depressing news. Actually, I was working in the media before. And what is our standard to choosing what news should be presented to the mass people? We choose, for example, like 3 accidents happened. One accident died only 50 people. No, too little. Another one, 100. Oh, another one, 200. Yeah, this is good. We choose this one. we edit this news and we can present it to the public. So if we don't choose, and then we will be controlled. And we will naturally, when we open Facebook, it's become automatic. Even you open the browser on your computer, some mundane things would pop up automatically. So we have to be prepared, and we consciously know we have to direct our energies of thinking, this power, to Krishna's side. So I have been trying this like an experiment. It started about a week. We created an online sangha. So we have morning programs starting from darshan, Bhagavatam class, and for those devotees who are working, so evening is their prime time. So evening time we again play the Srimad Bhagavatam through Zoom, and we are studying Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita lectures. And then we discuss. We have this wonderful about Zoom, the functions, they have breakout rooms, so we can have different groups, and the devotees, they can discuss what we learned from the 2 hours of hearing. Then each group has a representative. Then we can share the essence of their discussion, and all the devotees, they like it. And before sleeping, we also try to think about some topic. Shall I share our last night's topic with all of you? So last night, the last topic, and we're discussing this is our sleeping question. Because if we don't take the initiative to think, then some other thoughts would come into our mind. So last night, our last question for sleeping meditation was, think about how much money you are going to pay if you leave your light on for 12 hours. And how much money you are going to pay if you leave your AC on for 24 hours. And then think about how much money you paid to God. Because He is giving you everything for free. The light coming from the sun, from the moon, from the stars, for free. The air to breathe for free. The water, all kinds of natural resources for free. Does that mean we should not think about be grateful to God? And then in this way, we have to be connected with the devotees. By ourselves, alone, we're like a spark. We're like, just like going for the fishing. If you're going with a group, at least when you fell in the water, someone else will pick you up. But if you're going to the river alone to do the fishing, if you fell inside the river, you're completely on yourself, then maybe you're going to be drowned. So the essence is we take the initiative to direct our energies to certain channels. We create such a spiritual atmosphere, like a spiritual social media atmosphere for ourselves in the association of the devotees. Hare Krishna, hope that would help.
Thank you.
Yes. We take something from this side. Very quick question we have.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
As topic was going on, a devotee should participate in this politics and in this social topics. So answer of Prabhupada, and you also answered that if a person is going getting spiritual advancement, then he should, or otherwise he shouldn't. But sometimes we have to do something as a duty, towards society, towards and as we do some services for Krishna also, we do fund collection, we do preaching. That is also risky one, because we don't even getting that spiritual advancement. We take risk of that to just to as a duty towards Krishna. So that same thing is as a devotee, we should participate in this politics and in all these things as a duty towards society.
The last sentence, can you repeat, Prabhuji? The question part.
Question was my question is as we are doing other works also, as a fund collection and all this preaching also, we are taking risk. Even we are not getting spiritual advancement in that. Still we are doing as a duty. But as the same in politics and all these social things, we should participate, because this is also our duty towards society.
Hare Krishna. It's a very practical question. I will give a quick answer. So we have to perform our duties. We have to earn money in order to maintain our families. That is what should be done. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna to fight. By fighting, Arjuna actually, he asked Krishna, when I was fighting, I cannot think of you. I only think of how to make the enemy become more painful. Krishna said, yes. You can do like that, and then you offer the results of your work to me. So this is our solution. Whatever work we have to do, we have to do. Otherwise, we cannot maintain ourselves in this society. And then whatever we do, there's a result. We offer the result to Krishna. And more practically, more specifically, if we work, we get some money, and we use the money for organizing some sangha or do some devotional service. And for political things, occasionally maybe some protest. If that is an order coming from the spiritual master, we can do. From the higher spiritual authority, we are not doing anything independently on ourselves. Whatever we do under the proper guidance of the senior spiritual authorities. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.